Do you have any memories of when you were working at the farm, learning this, like encountering anything and going, oh, I don't know, I haven't seen that before. Is that safe? Or is this trustworthy? Or should I just toss it? Or, I mean,
yeah.
Because we encounter that a lot in our students. And so how did you encounter that, and did you get over that hurdle in any particular way?
Yeah, I think I was, not really. Well, I think one thing helped is that I was totally ignorant. I had zero culinary experience. And if you work in a restaurant, you rightfully learn all of the, food service safety protocol, which is totally essential, which a lot of these traditional cures like bacon and fermented meats especially completely defy.
Yeah.
And that's largely as a result of scale, and we'll talk about that too. So I did not have that baggage per se,
That's true.
So put,
yeah, you were a
but
blank slate.
I was a blank slate, and I was also really aesthetically motivated.
Yeah.
And the thing about spoilage is that it's ugly.
Yeah.
And I think disgust is even a reaction to like ugliness in any form. For me, it is, to be sure. And so when I smell something that smells good and it sits in a context of salubriousness, of health, and competency, then it's just not gross to me.
Yeah,
I'm very confident in it.
Trust it. Right?
I also never just took anything for granted. Like because I am a student, I read all of the most draconian warnings about making salami, or making bacon, this atypical peasant method. And I read all of the horror stories, and I still do. Anytime, it's very fadistic, this food science articles that come out, for a while it was just anathema to cold smoke meat, to cold smoke bacon. Some guy wrote an article and just got a lot of traction. And so I love to read those, and really take them seriously and see what they're saying, because we are dealing with objects in the physical universe that can be known. And I think a lot of the food science surrounding bacon, well, number one, it's geared for retail and mass production, and assuming you're starting with sickly, dirty meat. So that's
right.
A huge thing. But it's also not necessarily based on, is this safe objectively? That's not really the goal. To find out it is its liability, which is good because you have to work for the lowest common denominator. You have to assume that someone with almost malevolent intent is making the bacon and then serving it to people at a restaurant or something. You have to assume the worst of the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And then you make your code to that.
Right.
And that's just how it functions.
Yeah.
And I get it.
We're not going to overturn that anytime soon.
Yeah. And that's just how society works. And I think that so what that means is that a lot of the fears are kind of ill-defined. It's actually got this strange anti-science to it, because they are exponential. The fears are, what is the word? They're exaggerated for the worst case scenario. And when you actually do get down to the science and the bacteria that we have described, which is certainly not all that is involved in the curing and fermentation of meat, but you find that there's less danger. The more light you shine on it, the more knowledge you have.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that too. I've got some books I already got out that help with that technical biochemistry and microbial knowledge. That helps. It does help. And at the same time, I think it is just as unscientific to reject the testament of your senses, because they're put there by biology and they operate in the same realm, specifically designed for the detection of bad guys. You've got a nose and you have taste buds, and they're remarkably sensitive. And I think that if we took time to develop them, to discipline them, and to school them, school our senses, they become incredibly accurate guides to what you should eat, what you shouldn't.
Right.
And a lot of that just starts with, what tastes good. So
Yeah.
pursue the flavor. And I think you will eventually work yourself into the safety, because thrift and extravagance don't have to be
Yeah.
or separate things.
Yeah.